Cuentos del Abuelito. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. On this occasion, I'll be narrating a very famous folklore from Spain, titled The Monk Who Died from a Heartbreak. If you like this type of story, leave a like and a comment for support and all that type of thing. And with all that being said, let's get to it. In the beautiful Spanish community of Ávila, there is a majestic construction with large stone walls, known as the Palacio de Núñez Vela. They say that a long time ago, a beautiful young woman named Lucinda lived in it, who was the daughter of one of the wealthiest nobles in the city. Lucinda was beautiful and rich, but also good-hearted. That is why, while walking one day in the company of her friends, she could not help but fall in love with a handsome gentleman who was watching her pass by. This man was Enrique Blázquez Dávila, a nobleman who had several enemies at court. When Enrique was accused of conspiracy by them, he had to be banished to the desert. But first he passed through the high wall of the palace where his beloved lived to swear eternal love to her, in case they never saw each other again. "Are you going to love me always?" she asked with tears in her eyes. "I'm going to love you until the day I die," he promised her, before he hurried away on his horse. Under the gaze of those sad eyes, some said that the trap in which the young man had fallen had been orchestrated by the girl's own father, who did not see this relationship favorably, since his intention was to marry her to someone who suited his interests. From then on, Lucinda sank into a deep depression from which no one could pull her out of. All she did was look over the wall to see if Enrique was coming back or if any messengers had good news of him. But none of those things happened. She stopped eating, sleeping, and laughing, until she finally passed away from grief. Sometime later, Enrique was able to return to Spain, after winning several duels in the desert. The first thing he did was to go to the palace of Núñez Vela, but it was already too late. He was told of the death of his beloved Lucinda, and he went mad with grief. They didn't even let him visit her grave. So one night, he sneaked into the palace and knelt before her coffin that hid the remains of his beloved. When he wanted to pry open her coffin, a mysterious force stopped him and made him flee. Years later, the palace would become a convent, and Enrique would enter it as a monk to always watch over the soul of his beloved. Thus, some years passed, and eventually, he died. Today, the Palacio of Núñez Vela is considered one of the most important heritage sites in Ávila, in Spain. They say that on certain nights, you can see the ghost of a young woman who looks sadly over the wall. Inside, in addition, the presence of a silent monk is felt, dragging his tunic on the floor. It is the spirit of Enrique, who even in the afterlife continues to care for the woman he loved. Perhaps one day, when the two find eternal rest, they can meet again at a point farther than death.